Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Thursday, November 13th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got some NFL action for Thursday night. New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. Kickoff is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for some Thursday night football. Happy Thursday, everyone. Better backs in the game for the New York Football Jets, Breece Hall. And on the right, a quarterback that has truly come into his own in 2025, an MVP candidate, Drake May. Rocking some new unis, obviously, for the matchup today. Looking fresh and clean. And we'll have a matchup with Drake May versus Justin Fields. $35 subs away from 23,300. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on the Dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. Obviously, on the Vegas line in the wire, New England is favored to win by 12.5, but you just never know, on any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. Remember, the Miami Dolphins, were in this similar situation over the weekend, and they ended up beating the Buffalo Bills. So anytime you end up getting a divisional opponent, there is a higher chance of an upset rather than just a random bad opponent that's in a different division. So obviously we know the Jets and the Dolphins are not on the same level as the Bills and the Patriots this year. And again, Patriots should be heavily favored, here tonight at home. 8-2 record, 3-2 at home. The Jets have won 2 games in a row, and obviously they just lost Garrett Wilson to IR, for the minimum of the next 4 games, so they won't have access to him, and that'll definitely hurt. But that would mean a lot of Justin Fields, a lot of Breece Hall, and then it'll give an opportunity for some of the other running backs and other wide receivers and tight ends to step up in Garrett Wilson's absence. Daniel in the building, what's good? How are you? And shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. So the schedule moving forward will be obviously the Jets and the Patriots here on Thursday Night Football Global Broadcast on Prime. Tomorrow will be a special broadcast with the Oregon Ducks playing for the only time on Friday this season versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Then Saturday, we're going to do the Texas Longhorns with Arch Manning versus the Georgia Bulldogs. Sunday will be Sunday Night Football between the Eagles and the Lions. And then Monday night will be the Cowboys and the Raiders. And then as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, again, as I look ahead into the schedule, if the Blazers are on those particular days, then we'll definitely be using them as our fill-in streams, obviously, until we get into the end of football season, until the beginning of the baseball season in March. And obviously not the swaggiest, of alternate uniforms for New England. There's been some others that have been maybe a little bit more eye-catching, but it's always kind of cool to be able to rep something a little bit different, a little bit new compared to the traditional uniform. That might look a little bit more put together, than the throwback special uni that they're rocking today. But I kind of like the tone of the color, and we'll see if they can show out here today. And then obviously with Justin Fields, you're not going to have Garrett Wilson. There's no special uniform in store for them today, but we will see how it all goes down. Yeah, I figured it was going to be Ohtani and Judge. The MLB, is always going to have that type of favoritism, for those two players. And again, Cal had a great year. Cal was deserving, but I guess breaking records, that no catcher has ever done is not even good enough to win an MVP award for 1 year, even though we know Judge and Ohtani can get it every single year for the rest of their playing days. It would be nice to be able to acknowledge someone that actually had a season that, would be contesting that. And again, we haven't really had anybody, match Judge when he was in the running to win it, or have anybody match Ohtani, when he was in the running to win it. And we finally did this year for the first time. And, it is what it is, but we all know as Mariner fans and a lot of, fans of the catcher position and just baseball in general, how much harder it is to play catcher than someone that's just playing DH or, sometimes playing in right field. And, Judge is a fantastic player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's the modern day Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. There's no doubt about that. But again, Cal Raleigh is starting to become, maybe one of the best catchers to ever play this game. And again, that is not something that many can say, over the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. We've had, a lot of guys, that have, made some rounds with Yogi Berra and Johnny Bench and, going Carlton Fisk and, Gary Carter. And then, as more of recent Mike Piazza and Pudge Rodriguez, Buster Posey, and, now Cal Raleigh. So he'll keep grinding it out, and we'll see how it goes. Mike in the building. What's good? But I am not surprised one bit. And if anything, if there was ever a time to do a split award, it was this year. But I guess, we can't even get that to happen either. And the Patriots kick off, and good special teams coverage there. And shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And we'll see what Justin Fields can do on this drive. And you never know. Like I said, the Dolphins had no chance against the Buffalo Bills a couple days ago, and they found a way to win. Can the Jets do the same with less talent? We will find out. Williams returns for 24 yards, first down and 10 at the Jets 28. And shout out to the Blazers last night for getting that big victory over the Pelicans. It's going to be a fun year doing the Blazers here on the channel until we get into Mariner season until March. Mason Taylor with a quick grab right there and a nice quick release. I like that. Second down for the Jets. Justin Fields to Taylor for a 6-yard gain. Spillane with the coverage. Second down and 4 at the Jets 34. Man in motion. Fields, hands off. And Breece Hall there. Looks like he's at the first down marker. Let's see if they give it to him. Where are we going to get in the ball placement? Maybe just short. What, third down and 1 or third down in inches? All right, third down in inches. Hand it off to Breece Hall again, or do a QB sneak with Justin Fields. Yeah, I can't wait for the Mariners either, my guy. Again, it was a very magical year, on the channel and watching the games as a group. And it's just going to get more and more exciting every year moving forward. Fields with a little RPO to Breece Hall. Beautiful play call there. And that might be something that they need to implement in this game often to be able to keep New England on their heels. And again, they don't have Garrett Wilson, obviously hit IR this morning, so he'll be out for a minimum of 4 games. But Breece Hall, still one of the more capable running backs, normally a top 10 running back in the league when he's healthy normally. And again, they're going to have to heavily rely on him. Nice RPO from Fields to Hall and a nice little toss that he was able to catch. First down, Jets. Move the chains. Nice 11-yard run by Breece Hall. And for the Jets to win this game, you're probably going to need Breece to get 150 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Fields decides to take off. Go, baby. And a nice sliding effort there. 7-yard gain. And I'm definitely going to be watching Christian Gonzalez from the University of Oregon Ducks at corner, one of the best corners in the game. And again, we will see lots of players on that Pats defense, sideline to sideline. And they definitely got the right coach and the right offensive coordinator with Vrabel and Josh McDaniels to lead the charge. And another RPO keeper, but that time they were not fooled. Good tackle there by the Patriots. 3rd down and 4 with a gain, a minimal gain, if not any. Might have been a gain of none. Third down and 4 after a no gain there by Justin Fields on the scramble. Gibbons with the tackle. I imagine we'll have a few come in at some point. Fields on 3rd down and 4 has got plenty of time. You got to get rid of it. He decides to run. There we go. And again, if Justin Fields can run the football effectively with Breece Hall, they will have a chance here today. Obviously, we know the defense needs to get a couple picks on Drake May and force some turnovers. But again, if this game is going to be close, again, that's the formula. Fields needs to run, make smart throws, a lot of checkdowns if needed. Breece Hall, 150 yards with 2 tutties on the ground. And you're going to need the defense, to come up big. And we already know that they decided to kind of dump away their 2 best players with Williams, obviously on the D-line, as well as Sauce Gardner to the Colts. And definitely excited to see, what is going to transpire on that end. Nice 14-yard run. 1st down, Jets. And then another RPO here from Fields. He'll be busy today. And again, I'm not sure if New England, had this in their bingo card here today. Obviously, they knew with Garrett Wilson being out that there was a chance that we might see Fields run a tad more, but he's running pretty often, and I like it. I want to be able to see a good matchup here today, even though it definitely looks like it's heavily favoring New England with an 8-2 record going against the 2-7 Jets. But again, if the Dolphins can beat the Bills, the Jets can beat the Patriots, especially if it's within the division. 2nd down and 7, hand off to Breece Hall. And a short gain there. Seven plays for 43 yards, 8th play in the drive coming in. And we'll see what Tanner Engstrand has on tap for us here. 2-yard run by Breece Hall, Ponder with the tackle. 3rd down and manageable. 3rd down and 5 at the New England 27. And we'll see if they end up running an RPO here or if you can find someone to get open on a quick pass. At some point, they will have a spy assigned to Fields. Shotgun set. And they decide to hand it off. Great play call there. 1st down, Jets. Beautiful. Just when they thought Fields was going to run it himself with an RPO, they decide to hand the football off. That, kind of got the Patriot defense a little off guard. And a nice 1st down by the Jets, Jets. And again, for a team that's been playing pretty bad football overall, they've been playing much better the last 2 games. Handoff again. And Isaiah Davis gets another carry after a 7-yard 1st down on that previous down. And now we're at 2nd down and long after another run there by Isaiah Davis. 60 opening drives, 4 touchdowns, 7 turnovers, and 35 punts. I mean, if the Jets can march down and get a touchdown, we know we're going to have a very good back and forth battle here today. Isaiah Davis with a 3-yard gain on 1st down and 10, 2nd and 7 on the New England 17. Let's go. Let's punch this in, baby. Oh, here we go. Little reverse. Isaiah Williams back to Justin Fields. A little version of Philly there. Did not work. New England sniffed that out. 3rd down and 6 now for the Jets. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. I like this first drive here by Justin Fields. Let's see what they can do here. Let's see if Fields can find a way. 3rd down and 6. Shotgun set. And whistle is blown. Play is dead. And that might be false start on the Jets O-line. or unless he ended up calling timeout. Drew in the building. How are you? All right, looks like the timeout was called right before the snap there. Probably should have let that play go. How are you doing, Drew? Just got to keep grinding, a little bit of NFL, a little bit of college football, a little bit of basketball with the Blazers until we get into March. And then we will be doing pretty much every game of the Mariners, hopefully all the way to the end of October, beginning of November in the World Series next year. Timeout Jets. And again, a very impressive drive here for Justin Fields. No Garrett Wilson, who got placed on IR, so you're not going to be able to throw touchdowns or first downs there. You still got Breece Hall. You still got Justin Fields. And the O-line actually has played pretty good against the amazing Patriot defense this year up to this point. Rushing yards allowed per game, they're the best in the NFL with under 80 yards a game. And the Jets almost have that already here on the first drive, half of that yardage. Fields, nice pass. There we go. First down, Jets. There we go. I like that. And again, if you're going to be able to run the football RPO style, Breece Hall gets 100, 150 yards with 2 tutties. Fields gets a touchdown in the air and maybe one on the ground. It could be enough to be able to beat this New England team barely, depending on if they can get a few turnovers on Drake May or the running back crew or the wide receiving crew as well. Nice catch there from Mitchell. First and goal at the New England 6. Jets, 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 Jets. Let's go. Shotgun set. Hand off to Breece Hall. And trying to get a little bit of a push behind. And you got 4 New England players saying, no, I'll push you back. And the play is blown dead. Minimal gain there, if any. Second and goal. Go M's. Second and goal at the New England 5. Let's see if Fields ends up running an RPO and keeps it himself. And he does. Bouncing it to the outside. Touchdown, Jets. I should be an offensive coordinator for the Jets. Let's go. And again, sometimes you just know what a team needs to be successful. And that's exactly what you do when Garrett Wilson goes on IR today. You make sure you use Fields to the most of his ability. Breece Hall is a threat. And if the edge is going to be able to jump and anticipate that, big look to Breece Hall, he's already going to be exposed there in the flat. And that was a beautiful play call. Landry got just enough, fooled on that play. And the speed of Fields bouncing it to the end zone. I love it. Nick Folk, extra point is up, and it is good. Great start for the Jets. And again, I know a lot of NFL fans that saw this game, on the schedule, and they're like, oh God, 2-7 Jets, 8-2 Patriots, and they may not care about either one, even though New England's a great team this year, and they should be watched and appreciated by NFL fans. But, there probably still are a few fans out there that don't realize how good New England truly is. I would know that. We lost to them, obviously, over the weekend. And again, 8-2 record, 3-2 at home. But again, there is a formula, especially if you are a battle of a team that's really good in New England and a team that's really bad in the Jets. But the Jets have won 2 in a row, after going 0-7. So they're starting to kind of figure out a little bit of a formula. And again, if they run that formula, the rest of the game where Fields ends up running in for 1 or 2, throwing for 1 or 2, Breece Hall gets in for 1 or 2, you cause a few turnovers, on Drake May, you will have a chance, to end up getting this upset just like the Dolphins did against the Buffalo Bills. Great touchdown there. Justin Fields with the RPO. Extra point is up by Folk and good. 7-0 Jets. Great job. That's exactly what you wanted to see if you're a Jet fan or just a fan that wants to see a close football game. Way to bring the electricity for the Jets, Justin Fields. And then now we will see what Drake May has in store. And obviously they're wearing a special uni, obviously, here today. And we'll see if that will propel them to victory. 7-0 Jets. And we'll see what the Patriots will do on this drive. But a great drive there by New York. And again, you couldn't have scripted it up better there for Aaron Glenn. All right, Jets just about to kick off here to New England. And they kick to New England, taken at the 8. And a pretty good return to about the 31-yard line. And let's see what the MVP candidate has here. 72% completion percentage, second in NFL, 2,555 yards, third in the NFL, and 19 touchdown passes, tied for third in the NFL. Definitely an MVP candidate in 2025, and good for them. You know, when they drafted him, you know, it didn't really look like he was going to pan out, you know, but sometimes with the right coach, the right coordinator, and, you know, good, you know, draft picks and free agents, you know, you can definitely turn a career around. First down and 10, play action fake, little bootleg towards the sideline, and good defense there by Williams. Quincy Williams in coverage. Second down for New England. Hunter Henry for no gain. Second down and 10 at the New England 31. And definitely getting pressure on Drake May will definitely be crucial. Tip passes, sack lunches, interceptions, you know, strip sacks, you know, punched out, you know, footballs like Charles Peanut Tillman, everything and everything. And a little check down there. And a big tackle there on Stephon Diggs. And we got a flag on the play. Go Kraken. They definitely have been dropping a few games lately. But again, they definitely are scoring more than they were last year, game in, game out. And hopefully they can get the dub. Sarah in the building. How are you? Yeah, I already kind of knew that Judge was going to win it with Ohtani. You know, this is just how it goes. They're two of the most popular players in the game. And, you know, hopefully one day, you know, Cal will be able to win it, you know, but, you know, there definitely is a bias with the voters, you know, and it definitely shows you who watches Mariner baseball and who doesn't. So. And then after that, a necessary roughness penalty by Brownlee. A little short game there. TJ in the building. What's good? 7-yard run by Travion Henderson there. Stevens with the tackle. And again, I had a feeling that this game was going to be kind of like the Dolphins and the Bills. You know, just because it's one good team versus a bad team, if it's a divisional opponent, you know, sometimes that might be the difference instead of just playing a bad team from another conference. So I do think the Jets are going to have a chance. And again, Garrett Wilson is out. Everything is against them. You know, they don't have Sauce Gardner anymore, who's on the Colts. Got rid of Quinnen Williams as well. The team is blown up, so to speak. You know, but they won the last 2 games. And again, if they can run the RPO effectively with Justin Fields, and you know he can be accurate with the football and not have any bad throws, and then you can get good running out of Breece Hall, you will have a chance to upset this New England team, or at least make the game interesting the whole way. Third down and 5 at the Jets 41 after that loss of 2 by Henderson. And thrown with a little slant route over the middle, but a great stop by the Jets. Yeah, he got it. He got the new software, but it's very complicated, so it's going to take him some time, you know, to go through all the different synths and all the create a sound type of, options and whatnot. But It's going to be very amazing to see how it all progresses. 4th down and 2, and they're going for it. Shotgun set. May, little check down, and a very controlled pass there. And it's a nice, beautiful lob. Douglas with the catch. 1st down, Patriots. And shout out to Judah. I imagine he'll be in here at some point. It is his birthday today. And obviously we know he's a big Patriot fan living out there in the Northeast. But a beautiful touch pass there by Drake May. And again, not surprised one bit. You know, they need to be able to be efficient against this Jet defense. May, hands off, up the middle. And it looks like a gain of 1 or 2 there. Good defense by the Jets D-line. But we'll be doing Minnesota and the Oregon Ducks tomorrow. Texas and Georgia for college football Saturday. Eagles and Lions Sunday night football. And then Monday night, the Cowboys and the Raiders. And even though it might be the battle of the bads, it could actually be somewhat entertaining. Even though, those two teams obviously aren't having the seasons that they would like. May steps up in the pocket and decides to slide there to avoid any contact to the helmet. Smart decision by Drake May. And then we'll be tapping into some more Blazers next week around the Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll try to do Blazers once or twice a week as we're doing filler streams until we get into the point where we get closer to baseball season. So NFL, college football, NBA with the Blazers. And then at some point, we will end up introducing the Kraken on the stream down the road. 3rd down and 3 at the New York Jets 24 after that 4-yard scramble. Shotgun set, May towards the sideline, another touch pass. 1st down, Patriots. Stephon Diggs, move the chains. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really listen to music other than, his stuff, most of the time. So hand off up the middle. And a great run there by Henderson. I love his running style. From the Buckeyes to the Patriots, he is the real deal. Nine-yard run by Travion Henderson down to the Jets 10. 2nd down and 1. Man in motion by Henry. Hands off up the middle. And good defense there by the Jets. And I guess with this particular upgrade, with the sounds and the synths, this will be something that he can use not just for, a few months. This will be the software that he'll use very heavily for the next few years. So that makes me excited, to be able to help someone take their, skill set to another level with, better sounds and better upgrades. I'm definitely excited for him. Third down and 1, 3 wide receiver set, audible at the line. And that is the end of the first quarter with the Jets up 7-0 on the New England Patriots. Great quarter for the Jets, but New England is knocking at the door. And again, sometimes when you see, bad matchups, just like looking at it, you have to ask yourself, are they in the same division? And if they're in the same division, it might end up being a little bit better of a game. Now, if this was like New England, versus, some random opponent like the Cardinals, then maybe not so much. Then it might end up being a blowout by New England by 20 or more. But just the simple fact, just like with the Dolphins upsetting the Bills, they see that opponent twice every year, and they're going to be more locked in, than just a random opponent from another division, that they play once every 3 to 4 years. So great job by the Jets, but New England is knocking at the door 7-0 with a Jets early lead. Let's play Brooks's new one here. I mean, he's got quite a couple new ones that he has made. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Only 35 subs to go to 23,300. And the great thing about, his music, you have to listen very closely. Every little detail, every little sound effect, every little layer, it's like baking a cake. And, the deeper that you get into the beat, there's more and more that gets revealed from just, compared to the first 20 to 30 seconds. And fantastic job as always. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And I know, there might be some, NFC fans or just fans looking at the matchup that, may not be interested, but, I'm definitely interested to see how Fields and Hall play and to see if they can get the upset off Drake May, who is playing like an MVP candidate this year. And, again, the Patriots in years past, the last few years haven't been that good, but, they definitely got the right coach. And it kind of feels like a similar situation with the Commanders last year with Quinn and Jaden Daniels, being able to find the right coach, the right coordinator, and the right quarterback, and then having everything kind of come together. And they might be a year early, but again, it shows you the impact of Vrabel and, teaching the Patriot way, kind of like a Bill Belichick, pretty serious, in your face. And then obviously having a Josh McDaniels, one of the best offensive coordinators in the game. He might not be able to cut it out as a head coach, but one thing is for sure, McDaniels knows how to call plays. 3rd down and 1. Hand off up the middle, and Henderson spins and leans forward. 1st down, Patriots. Move the chains. At some point, I may end up going to his place, to maybe work on something with him together. We usually have really good creative minds when we come together, and we haven't seen each other and got a chance to hang out in a minute. So 1st and goal, and a little flip. Wow, touchdown, Patriots. I mean, he was dragging a couple players there. Travion Henderson getting the job done. And just like that, we were on the brink of a tie ball game. I like the way that Henderson plays, just like, on the Buckeyes, same type of physicality. Extra point is up, and it is good. And a nice touchdown there by Travion Henderson. Way to get the job done. Game is tied now, 7-7, and we have a fun one. And again, even though on paper, a lot of people thought, this is going to be boring. Patriots are going to win by 30. There's no point in watching, but again, when it's a divisional opponent, like the Dolphins and the Bills over the weekend, sometimes, the team that is bad, finds a way to come together at the most opportune time. 7-7 Jets and New England. Nice job by Travion Henderson. And we'll see if Justin Fields has another touchdown in store on his next drive. And if you're just tuning in to the broadcast, Justin Fields with an RPO, 5-yard rushing touchdown to that right side, 14 plays, 72 yards, 8 minutes plus with the drive. Folk with the extra point was up and good. 7-0 Jets lead. And then the Patriots methodically, 13 plays, 69 yards, 7 minutes and 40 seconds. And then just getting into the first minute in the second quarter, Travion Henderson right up the middle, 7-yard rush, dragging, a couple Jets defenders with him. And now we have a 7-7 tie with 14-16 left here in the second quarter. Great drive there by the Pats. Travion Henderson getting in. Fields on the first touchdown. And let's see if the combination of Breece Hall and Justin Fields can get the job done, since Garrett Wilson hit IR this morning and will be out for a minimum of 4 games. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it. Bye-bye. Pamela in the building. How are you? Handoff up the middle and runs into 3 Patriots there. One-yard run there by Breece Hall. Spillane and Gregory with the coverage. 2nd and 9 at the Jets 32. Shotgun set. Justin Fields. Quick pass towards the sideline, incomplete. Probably should have went to the flat to Breece Hall right there. And 3rd down and 9 for the Jets. And again, you're gonna have to run the football to beat the Patriots. You're not gonna win it based on Justin Fields' arm. You're gonna win it based off his legs and Breece Hall's legs. But with that being said, you're still gonna need to get a few first downs with Fields' arm if you're gonna be able to, keep this game close or, have a chance to win. The more they can get Fields to throw the football, advantage Patriots. Fields. And a little check down there and a good tackle by New England on 3rd down and long. And that's going to turn into a Jets punt. And again, great job there by that New England defense, 2nd time around. And the Jets punt. All right, fair catch is caught and a little contact there. Now things getting a little chippy between the Jets and the Pats. $12:52 left in the second quarter as we go to a commercial break. And after McNamara with that 45-yard punt, Hennessy and others, fair caught by Jones, 1st down and 10 at the New England 17. 12:43 left here in the second quarter. 7-7 Jets and New England tied. And let's see what we can get out of New England's second drive, if they can march down the field and get another touchdown with Travion Henderson, or if the Jets defense can step up and force a punt just like New England's defense just did. First down and 10. Little play action. May over the middle, wide open. Hunter Henry, first down, Patriots. Move the chains. Great job there by Drake May, doing Drake May things. And he is an MVP candidate in 2025, and deservedly so. 23-yard pass there by Drake May to Hunter Henry. First down, New England. Move the chains. Drake May, hands off, up the middle. And that's one thing about New England. They'll never abandon the run, and they've never really abandoned the run in that Tom Brady era, and even before him. They love to run the football and to be able to kind of have that grit, and again, kind of like, the personality of Vrabel, physical football, run the football, play good defense. But again, Drake May definitely has the skill set to throw the football and throw the football deep for big touchdowns. Two-yard run there by Travion Henderson. Oliver with the coverage. Second down and 8 at the New England 42. Shotgun set. May decides to run and takes a hit on the shoulder and goes down, and learns that you probably need to go down a little bit quicker. Third down and 7 after a gain of 1. And this will be a big defensive play here on third down if they can force the punt. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Third down and 7 at the New England 43. 7-7 tie with the Jets and the Patriots, and a good one here on Thursday Night Football here early. Shotgun set. Jets bring pressure up the middle and steps up in the pocket. Nice throw to Hunter Henry. First down, Patriots. Move the chains. A little shimmy and a little shake by Hunter Henry. First down, New England. First down and 10 at the Jets 45. Man in motion. 3 wide receiver set. Halfback toss. Good coverage there by the Jet defense. Halfback toss there to Johnson for a minimal gain, if any. Second down and 11 after that 1-yard loss. Shotgun set for May. Avoids a sack lunge. Steps up in the pocket. Keeps his eyes downfield. Wide open. First down. Patriots. And Mac Hollins has been a good addition for this New England offense. First down, New England. All them sack lunches. First down and 10. Drake May, 8 for 8 with 77 yards. Is that good? 19-yard pass to Mac Hollins, who definitely gives them that energy and swagger. May throw to the sideline wide open, and Mac Hollins again. And flag on the play. And that might be a hold on the offensive line here. Let's see what the call is. Referees are discussing. 2 fouls on the play. Both penalties on the Jets there for illegal contact. Penalty declined. Great play there to Mac Hollins. First down and 10, New England. First and goal at the Jets 8 after that 19-yard pass. Handoff up the middle. And touchdown. Travion Henderson does it again, just like he did against the Buccaneers. Decides to get in the end zone twice. And there it is. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Travion Henderson from the Ohio State University. The Buckeye product, bringing his game to the NFL, and Vrabel smiling from ear to ear. 13-7 Patriots. And again, if New England, can continue to get good ground game, good, obviously, throwing from Drake May and great defense, they're going to have a chance, to be able to go deep into the playoffs. And honestly, I would not be shocked if New England, Denver, Indy, if one of those teams, if not more than one, could possibly make, a deep run this year, considering the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens are all kind of question marks in 2025. Nice 7-yard touchdown there by Travion Henderson. Extra point is up and good. 14-7 New England. And now let's see if we can get back to that formula that was working for the Jets on their first drive, running an RPO and primarily running the ball with Fields, with his legs, and obviously handing it off to Breece Hall and letting him run as well. Once they start throwing the football, that's when things start going sideways. So again, you're still going to have to throw here and there, but you can't primarily throw 3 times out of 4, downs on a drive per se, not really against this, New England stingy defense. And, again, you can go check downs, here and there, but Fields definitely gets himself a little bit in trouble when he starts to go with those intermediate and deep routes. Not the most accurate thrower in the NFL. But again, the Jets are in it. And again, they did score first using an RPO heavy running style. And obviously New England is starting to adjust. But again, they didn't run the football as much with Fields on the second drive, which turned into a punt. And obviously you're going to be able to need to get chunk yardage out of Breece Hall. Instead of it being 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, he's got to get 4 or 5 yards per carry. So that way, if it ends up being 3rd down for Fields, it's 3rd down 1, 3rd down 2, 3rd down and 3. And at that point, they can run an RPO and he can get the first down with his legs, or handing the ball off at the very last second with that RPO to Breece Hall. Dave in the building. What's good? Yeah, we already knew that was going to happen, though. This is the MVP, baby. Yeah, but it definitely shows you people don't watch Mariner baseball. They don't watch a lot of baseball on the West Coast, and They don't realize how tough, the catching position truly is. And, if they continue to just make it a superstar award for Ohtani and Judge, and that's what we're going to get, until their playing days are over, But at the end of the day, I would rather have a World Series ring rather than, Cal getting an MVP. Obviously, I think he would say the same as well. And I mean, if you could get the MVP while you win a World Series, so be it. But, definitely the voters and the writers and just fans in general are incredibly biased. You do get a few individuals that recognize like how special Cal's season really was, like pretty much every former catcher that played the game, as well as a lot of intelligent, fans and players. But again, just because someone has the right to vote doesn't mean that they're going to vote for the right person. So. And we know Aaron is a great player, but for a guy that plays DH or sometimes plays in right field compared to a guy that plays catcher and has a lot more responsibility, offensively and defensively, and doing something that no catcher has ever done. Last time I checked, Aaron Judge didn't do something this year that no player has ever done in MLB history, but, great year, but again, I guess breaking records, for the position, and over 100 years of baseball is still not good enough to win the award, but it is what it is. We still love Cal Raleigh, the big dumpa. 27-yard return there, first down and 10 at the Jets 38. And Breece Hall runs to that right side for 5 yards. Gibbons with the coverage. Second down and 5 at the Jet 43. 3 wide receiver set, shotgun set here on second down and 5, and that's what you're going to need. Second down and manageable, third down and manageable. Jets bringing a quick pass after the Patriots bring a blitz off the edge. Jeremy Rucker there with the catch. Third down and short. Fields to Ruckert. 1 yard gain, third down and 4. Time to use the RPO. Shotgun set. Fields decides to go long, one-on-one, and good coverage over the top. And if you're going to go at Christian Gonzalez, who arguably is the best corner in the NFL this year, you better know what you're doing. That's a terrible play call by the Jets. You don't want to go, to, a guy that is the best corner in the game. And if he's not the best corner in the game, he's top 2 this year. Wow. Should have caught that. Fields to Mitchell. And what happened to my hands? He drops it with Gonzalez in coverage. And fair catch is called. And we'll see if New England can get another score here. And again, they need to go back to the formula that was working on that first drive. Heavy Breece Hall, heavy RPO. And, and again, if they're going to go away from that, then this is going to get out of hand. But, if they can go back to what worked in that first drive, they'll be able to keep this game a little bit closer than maybe most people thought. 14-7 New England. 6:07 left in the second quarter after a commercial break. And if you're just tuning into the action, Justin Fields with a RPO run, 5-yard rushing touchdown to give them an early 7-0 lead. But the last 2 touchdowns have been by Travion Henderson. 2-yard gain that led to a 7-yard rushing touchdown, 13 plays, 69 yards, 7-7 tie right out of the gates in the second quarter. And then Travion Henderson with another 7-yard rushing touchdown just moments ago, 8 plays, 83 yards, 14-7 lead, New England. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. And we'll be doing the Minnesota Golden Gophers versus the Oregon Ducks tomorrow. Texas versus Georgia on Saturday evening. The Eagles and the Lions on Sunday Night Football, which should be one of the best games of the year, you would assume. And then Monday night will be the Raiders and the Cowboys. And then once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, probably some Blazers mixed in next week as well. May, play action fake, steps up in the pocket, little check down. And Travion Henderson with the little check down there from May. And the Jets definitely need to step up the defense here. They need an interception, a fumble, something to kind of get them back into this momentum of this particular matchup. They scored first, but New England scored, back-to-back here in the second quarter. Got to find a stop. Throw to the sideline. First down, Patriots. Mac Hollins with the catch. And he's the perfect type of receiver to have on one side of the football, Diggs on the other, and then obviously having Travion Henderson doing what he does. And again, Travion definitely taking advantage of Ramondre Stevenson being injured, and normally they would have a nice 1-2 combo with Stevenson and Henderson, but Henderson is definitely going to be threatening Ramondre Stevenson's lead back job if he keeps playing the way that he is with this opportunity that he's had in the last few games. Handoff. And a good gang tackle there by 5 Jets. After that 8-yard gain by Mac Hollins, that gave him a first down. One-yard run by Travion Henderson. Adams with the coverage. Second down and 9 at the New England 29. 14-7 Patriots. Trips right. Shotgun set for the MVP candidate Drake May. And then a draw. And that was sniffed out early there by the Jets. Great defense there. No gain. Good tackle there by Williams. Third down and 9 at the New England 29. Like they gave him a yard. 1-yard run by Travion Henderson. Third down and 8 at the New England 30. Shotgun set, man in motion. 4 wide receiver set. May going long, going deep, wide open, and dropped. Diggs with the drop, and he's on the ground, and he stays down. Flag on the play. I wonder if they're calling that targeting or holding. Penalty is declined for the hold on the O-line, and that's going to turn into a punt. Wow, beautiful throw by Drake May, and that, normally is a catch that Diggs makes. 4th down and 8, Patriots with the punt, and let's see if the Jets can tie this game up. Isaiah Williams, and gets caught up, and we got another flag on the play. See what the call is here. You got 3:31 to be able to get a field goal to make it 14-10, which would be great, but obviously tying the game up against a divisional foe like New England would be huge if you can get the RPO game going here. And holding, offensive holding there. And now we're transitioning to another commercial break. Offensive holding there. First down and 10 at the Jets 21. And now after the penalty, it'll be first down and 10 at the Jets 7. So they're going to have to go 93 yards, in 3:19. But again, if they can get, the ground game with a couple chunk plays out of Breece Hall, and you can run the RPO with Fields, because obviously him as a runner is more of a threat than him as a thrower. And again, they did that, beautifully on the first drive and had a 7-0 lead. But, again, you're not going to be able to count on Fields' arm. Drive in and drive out, and this is going to be a critical drive if they want to keep this game close. Because again, if New England ends up going up 17-7, 21-7, it could get really ugly, after that. So this is definitely the most critical drive for the Jets up to this point, besides the first drive where they ended up getting 6. Gained another sub after the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 34 subs to go to 23,300. Thursday Night Football on Prime. New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. And a good one here so far, 14-7 New England. All right, come on, Fields. Let's make this a game. We don't want it to be a blowout already in the second quarter. Shotgun set. Hand off to Breece. And good vision there. Looks like he got about 4 or 5 on that first down carry. And it's really got to be a combination of Fields and Hall to get the job done. Five-yard run by Breece Hall. Durden with the tackle. 79 yards, rushing yards per game allowed, and they're almost at that number already. Hand off to Breece. And a good gang tackle there by the Patriots. Third down and short. You got to run the RPO. I mean, that's going to be the best way that you're going to be able to, get first downs, either with Fields' legs, or that last second flip to Hall and having him run for the first down. Third down and 2. Man in motion. Audible called by Fields as the clock is winding down. And 2-minute warning is called. Just getting ready from the commercial break. 2-minute warning, 14-7 New England. 3rd down and 2 at the Jets 15. And this will be definitely a critical drive, especially if they can get points to make this a little bit more competitive going into halftime. Third down and 2. Shotgun set for Fields. New England bringing pressure. Fields towards the sideline and dropped incomplete. Why are we throwing the football on 3rd down and 2? And now that's going to turn into a punt for the Jets. The only problem is Mitchell is not Garrett Wilson. That's the problem. But not a very good throw there by Fields behind the receiver. And again, Fields not the best thrower in the NFL. Jets with the punt. And fair caught at the 41. And if you're the Jets, you have to hold them, to 3 or nothing. Because if they end up scoring a touchdown, then it's kind of the beginning of the end. The Jets desperately need a turnover or to hold them to 3. Otherwise, this is going to get to a point where you're going to end up getting a blowout. McNamara punts 44 yards. Fair caught by Jones. 1st down and 10 at the New England 41. So Justin Fields with the first touchdown off the RPO, rushing it in. Travion Henderson with the other 2 touchdowns for New England. And now they're going to try to get one more here before half. Shows you the difference between the 2 quarterbacks. 4 for 7, 23 yards, and another that is an MVP candidate that's 11 for 12. Some guys can throw the football with accuracy, others not so much. May, hands off. And we got a whistle there, flag on the play. "12-man on the field for the Jets." That's not ideal in this situation right before half. And shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1st down and 5 now at the New England 46. Can't have self-inflicted wounds there for Steve Wilkes and the Jets defense. Man in motion. Drake May under center. Handoff up the middle. And good defense there by the Jets. Travion Henderson doing Travion Henderson things. One-yard run there by Henderson. McDonald with the tackle and the coverage for the Jets. 2nd down and 4 at the New England 47 with 1:20 to go. Trips right. Shotgun set for May. Jets bringing the blitz up the middle. May keeps his eyes downfield and almost intercepted by the Jets. One of the first bad throws by Drake May, and we got a flag on the play. That might be holding on the O-line. 10-yard penalty there with the offensive hold. It's going to be on Campbell on the offensive line for New England. Second down and 14 at the New England 37. Shotgun set for May. Jets bring pressure up the middle and a little check down. And Travion Henderson has such great athleticism and wiggle. You know, the agility to be able to catch a football and to move, very quickly, from side to side and to be able to pick up full speed in a, blink of an eye. 8-yard pass there from May to Henderson. Third down and 6 now at the New England 45 with less than 40 seconds to go before halftime. Trips right, 4 wide receiver set. Shotgun set for Drake May. Jets bringing the blitz off the edge. Uh-oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Big sack lunch there for the Jets. But now we got a flag on the play. And we'll see if this is a hold on the O-line. Or are they going to call defensive holding? Wow. Illegal contact on the defense after the sack. Sack gets negated. And automatic first down for New England. Come on, Stevens. You finally got a sack on Drake May, all for nothing. But again, they do have some tough receivers to cover a one-on-one with Mac Hollins and Stephon Diggs. Come on, you can't be holding a Mac Hollins like that. Jesus. Terrible penalty there by Stevens. And that takes the sack off the board. No sack lunch there for the Jets. First down and 10. Shotgun set for Drake May. May going long, going deep. 1-on-2. And should have been intercepted by the Jets secondary. But they end up batting it down. Incomplete. Kyle Williams, the rookie, was the intended receiver. And they're going to be using him kind of like Jamison Williams for the Lions, the deep threat, or Kyle Williams. We got an injury on the field there by the Jets. All right, 20 seconds to go, 14-7 New England. And again, if you're a Jets fan or just, rooting for a close game, you cannot let them score here in the last 20 seconds. Again, and if they do, at least 3. If it's 17-7, you're still kind of in it. But again, 14-7 sounds a hell of a lot better. And again, they need to go back to that formula on that first drive with Fields running the ball heavily. Rather than him using his arm. Not very efficient with his arm, very efficient with his legs. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Travion Henderson with 2 touchdowns on the ground. Justin Fields with an RPO, a touchdown with his legs. And we're sitting at a 14-7 New England lead. Quantez going back to the locker room there for the Jets. Second down and 10 at the 50. And as long as they don't give up a long bomb for a touchdown, to like a Kyle Williams or a Matt Collins or a Diggs, they'll be good to go. But they're definitely going to be, testing the waters here. May, pressure off the edge, pump fake, decides to check it down to Travion Williams, and Williams, first down, Patriots. But tick, 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 tick. The clock is running down, and they're going to have to use a timeout. First time out there for New England. Drake May, short left to Travion Henderson. He didn't want to go deep and test the waters, but there's no point on trying to get a deep 40-yard, 50-yard bomb that turns into double coverage and a pick. And I got 13 seconds left to try to put up 3-6, depending on how close you can get here. And obviously, if you're the Jets, you're trying to get a sack, or an interception or a fumble, trying to prevent them from getting any more points before half. Shotgun set, 3 wide receiver set for Drake May. And a little check down there. First down, Patriots. Nice catch by Diggs. And timeout is called. Second timeout by New England. And I imagine they're going to go with one more play to see if they can get a few more yards for their kicker. First down, unless they can end up getting a touchdown, which, could be possible, especially with Drake May, an MVP candidate this year. 140 passing yards for New England already here in the first half. 14-7 Patriots. 9 seconds to go here. 3 wide receiver set with 1 running back with May, and they decide to go with the draw, and a good tackle there. And now timeout has to be called. I'm not sure if that was the call Patriot fans wanted. They probably wanted to try to, test the DBs and try to go into the end zone, but now we're going to end up getting a field goal with 3 seconds left, and final timeout is called by New England. Borregales, 13 for 14, as long as 53 this year. A good percentage, 93%. As you see, May and McDaniels having a combo there on the sideline with Hollins and Diggs. "45-yard field goal attempt, which is definitely in his range. And I would assume momentarily it'll be 17-7 unless the Jets can get a block. All right, here we go. Field goal attempt with 3 seconds left before halftime. 45-yarder here by New England. Kick is up. He's got the distance, but it's going wide right. No good. And the Jets survive. 14-7 New England. That's huge for them. And now you're only down by 7, and you got to like your chances, as long as Fields can run the football effectively in the second half. And a missed opportunity by New England in the first half by not maybe testing the waters deep. And New England is going to receive the second half kickoff. And we got about 12 minutes. Halftime will be quick, and they'll be right back into the third quarter. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. I appreciate you. 33 subs to go to 23,300. 14-7 halftime lead for the New England Patriots. 2 touchdowns by Travion Henderson, 1 by Justin Fields, and that's where we sit. We got about 9 minutes to go here before half. 14-7 New England. And I'm glad that it's not a blowout. You know, obviously, if New England was able to get a touchdown or a field goal, you know, and they would be able to score, you know, at the end of the half and the beginning of the third quarter like they did against Tampa, then, you know, it starts to kind of get away from you. But, you know, even though New England is definitely the better team out of the two, you know, if they can find a way to, you know, use Fields with his legs more, that could be, you know, the deciding factor on making this game, you know, that much closer, or the Jets having a very small chance of upsetting New England. But again, they're going to need the defense to come up with an interception, a fumble, a pick six, a fumble for a touchdown, special teams touchdown on top, you know, of whatever they get offensively if they're going to win tonight. They may not have like the, you know, biggest names, you know, with like Mac Hollins, you know, out there. Hunter Henry's a decent name with Diggs as well, even though he's getting a little bit older. But everyone is a kind of a good piece for Drake May. And it definitely shows you, you know, if you have a great quarterback, again, you can make everyone around you look that much better. And again, even though Ramondre Stevenson is injured, Travion Henderson looking like a lead back and a guy that could be the starting running back for them moving forward. I actually like his style of running a little bit more than Ramondre. Like Ramondre can get in the end zone as well, but just a little bit more injury prone. And this young buck from the Buckeyes from Ohio State definitely has, you know, the youth on his side, and he's got a lot of agility, a lot of athleticism, which he showed with 2 tutties in the first half. Seven minutes to go here before half is over. 4 for 7, 23 yards for Justin Fields, 28 rushing yards and the TD. Drake May, 14 for 16, 140 passing yards. Definitely shows the difference between a franchise quarterback and a guy, that is just trying to earn a paycheck. Bills and Texans next week. All right, 3 minutes to go here before kickoff in the second half, and New England is going to receive the second half kickoff. (14-7) New England here at halftime. We got about 2 minutes to go before we'll get into the kickoff. Patriots will receive. And again, if they're just going to be able to, kind of manufacture first downs at will, New England will win the game. But again, if the Jets can force a turnover or two and run the football, with efficiency with Fields and Breece Hall, they might have a chance to keep this a little bit closer before the Patriots fully pull away. 14-7, Pats. All right, we got about 30 seconds left before halftime is up. And I've been doing this, channel for 13 years. This is my 9th year on YouTube. So, yeah, obviously I have. More than once. We should be just moments away here for the second half kickoff for the Jets kicking off to New England. No, I watch everything, pretty much besides like soccer and golf, on like a regular basis, like obviously if it's some like major tournament, I might tune in, but really the only time that I, do get excited about soccer is World Cup. So other than that, I don't have a favorite team or a favorite player. I got a lot of other, things going on. NFL, college football, MLB, NBA, NHL, WWE, AEW, NASCAR, so again, some people love it. And again, I feel like golf and soccer and baseball and wrestling and NASCAR and even basketball is kind of a niche market now. Obviously football is very easy to watch, based on college or the NFL. But again, every sport fan is built a little bit different. But yeah. All right, we're just about to get into the second half here. $14 for 16, 140 yards, 5 rushing yards, but no tutties for Drake May yet. 4 for 7, 23 passing yards, 28 rushing yards, and a TD. And, again, for the Bears to give up on, Fields and to get Caleb Williams, that was the right choice. And unfortunately, Fields is kind of like more of a backup quarterback, not really a starter. But again, that's what they have. And at some point, hopefully the Jets will be able to get, their quarterback. They've had a rough time, with Zach Wilson and many other individuals trying to, get that starting quarterback spot. But, it's been a minute since they've actually had someone reliable. Yeah, but Fields can't throw, though. The thing is, like, he can run, but he's not very accurate. I wouldn't want him as my fucking quarterback on my team. And honestly, I don't think I would even really want him as my backup either, really. First down and 10, little screen pass. He's kind of like an RG3 Colin Kaepernick type where it's kind of like a gimmick quarterback. Unfortunately, he can't throw, and at least Kaepernick, could throw when he was playing back in the day. Same thing with RG3. That's going to be the biggest way to lose your job if you can't throw in the NFL and you're a quarterback. Drake May, 3-yard pass to Diggs. Adams with the coverage. Second down and 7 at the New England 37. May going deep, 1-on-2. And pass incomplete to Kyle Williams, the rookie. Third down and 7 at the New England 37. Trips right. Man in motion. Shotgun set for May. Jets bring pressure off the edge. May. And connects. Diggs is there, but short of the marker. And that looks like it's going to be 4th down and 1. Rob in the building. What's good? How are you? Six-yard pass from May to Diggs. 4th down and 1 at the New England 43. Looks like there was a little bit of movement on that catch by Diggs. Good defense there by the Jets. Pass incomplete. 4th down and 7 at the New England 37. And again, that's exactly what you wanted. You didn't want New England to go march all the way down the field and go up 21-7. Essentially, at that point, it would feel like it's over. So now with the big stop, let's see if the Jets get back to what they did in the first drive that worked. Heavy Fields running the ball, heavy Hall running the ball. And if you can get Breece and Justin to run the football, you're going to be able to do something at some point. No, not tonight. Just a question that was asked. TJ with a tour. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. All it takes is one person to make a difference, and then that'll turn into another and another. Appreciate you. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 2:98 to go to hit the goal. Appreciate you. And every dollar counts. You know, that'll help us, you know, pay the internet bill, the streaming fee, taking care of my pup, you know, so that way we can continue to do this, you know, every day moving forward. And, you know, we do have a few months before we get into Mariner season. So any type of support that we can get through college football, NFL, NBA, NHL, NASCAR streams, WWE included, it'll definitely help us until we get to Mariner season as the primary here, obviously, on the channel. 7-yard run there by Breece Hall. Hawkins with the coverage, 2nd down and 3 at the Jets 39. Appreciate you, TJ. Hopefully we'll get a few other people to come in and show some love. 4-yard run there by Breece Hall. 1st down and 10 at the Jets 43. I mean, you know, it kind of just depends, you know, on the support that you can get. And a nice RPO there by Fields. And obviously, since the Mariners ended up having a great year, that impacted the channel in a positive way. And yeah, I would say Mariner streams are going to not only bring in the most people, you know, but they're also going to be, you know, the most support, you know, by likes and views and subs and donos. Now, in the past, you know, we were able to get plenty of likes, subs, views, and donos on NFL, college football streams, NBA. But again, you know, when you end up doing, you know, almost 170 plus streams, you know, that take up 5-6 months with the Mariners, you know, obviously, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a transitional period to get into those other sports, you know, while after baseball season has ended. But again, you know, I'm going to continue to grind, and eventually we'll find people that'll support me, you know, when we do Blazer streams, NFL streams, college football streams like the Ducks that we're going to do tomorrow, as well as Texas and Georgia on Saturday. But, you know, the only way that you're going to be able to get to those people is by continuing to work hard, and then eventually finding the right people that will support your dream. Again, I'm going to continue to grind. And again, it's not like I can just take off every day until Mariner season starts again. So this is my full-time job. So we're going to continue to grind until we get into March. And then once we get to March, we'll be doing primarily Mariner baseball. .11-yard run there by Justin Fields. 1st down, Jets. An intentional grounding there by Justin Fields. 2nd down and 20 at the Jets 44. I appreciate that, Rob. $10 for some aviation fuel for the Jets. I love it. Appreciate you very much, man. Stacks, racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. $10 holla. And all, like I said, all it takes is one person to lead to another. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I get it. This isn't the, must-see game for every NFL fan. Not a lot of people appreciate the Jets. And obviously, for New England, they're having a great year this year. Drake May is an MVP candidate, but there's still going to be some NFL fans that don't really care about the Patriots. But again, I'm very, in tune on what's going on in the NFL, no matter who's playing. So I like to be able to watch talent and people progress, and again, the more college and NFL you watch, the smarter that you're going to get, based on what you see. And we got a flag on the play. Appreciate the two of you guys very, very much. And again, all it takes is one person, and again, sometimes, you'll be grinding it out for a couple hours and all of a sudden, someone will come in and, you'll get a 20 or a 50 or 100 or a 200. And, and again, that will carry some momentum. And, we're going to be doing a lot of, other things until we get into the Mariner season. But I pretty much have, a big event planned for every single day. And, it's just up to the fans to show up and show out once they end up seeing what's on, tap on schedule. And again, not every Mariner fan, is going to be supportive, through the NFL, the college football, the NBA, the NASCAR, and the other streams. But that's fine. There will be people that will only watch when I do Mariners, but it would be nice, to be able to get some of those people to support until we get to that point. Because otherwise, if we don't get the proper support between now and March, then I won't be able to, get to that point. So every dollar counts, every sub counts, every view, every dono. And I appreciate you guys very much. 4th down and long. And the Jets now are going to have to punt on 4th down and 28 after unnecessary roughness. And that 15-yard penalty. Things getting a little bit more verbal and a little bit more chippy, and again, New England is the much better team out of the two. But again, if the Jets can find a way to, get a few defensive plays to go their way, this could end up being slightly closer than first anticipated. And if there's anything photo-wise that you want to be able to see TJ and Rob, you got a favorite player, just something that you want to be able to showcase on the channel, let me know, and I got you. Doesn't even have to necessarily be, sport related. It could be, favorite band or whatever that you want to be able to showcase, based on what is in your life at the moment. 14-7, New England with the lead here, 11-16 left in the third quarter. What do you mean semi-regular videos? You mean like uploads? Unfortunately, uploads are not really worth my time, unfortunately. It's like I said, I can do reaction videos, for like NFL, games and whatnot. But again, it takes a lot of time and energy to make the thumbnail, to go through, the process, and again, if I'm going to be, doing videos like that, if I'm not getting, over 1,000 views or more on every video, it's just not really worth it. You know what I'm saying? So again, I've been doing this full time for 9 years, 13 years overall, so I've got to look at the numbers, and I look through the analytics and the metrics every day and whatnot. And, I started off, doing reaction videos on the channel, and then eventually got to doing play-by-play. And again, unfortunately, I would end up doing, reaction videos, for the NFL. But again, it's just not really worth the time and the energy unless I'm actually getting the support. So, and again, it's like, if I'm going to be able to get some good numbers, based on certain things like that. But that's kind of the reason why I stopped doing the reaction videos, because, some would get pretty good numbers, but then others wouldn't, and again, it takes a lot of time and energy, and I got to take care of my pup, and I got other things I got to do. So, to take, hours out of your day, to get 100 views on a video or 300, that's not worth my time. So, that's why we're going to continue to do live streams for live play-by-play and reactions. And, people can go through the library and look at the old videos. And, down the road, once we get bigger, and we have more, support, then I'll, consider doing, uploads down the road, but again, at the time being, I have to be very calculated with everything I do. That way I don't burn out and I have a good, headspace and my mental health is good, instead of just working extremely hard and then not getting any support. That definitely can be, soul crushing, to any, streamer, on regardless of platform. 2nd down and 8 here after a 2-yard run by Travion Henderson. Ball is at the 50. Jay Jetta with a gritty. I got you. Drake May under center. 2nd down and 8. 3 wide receiver set. And a little play action fake. Floater wide open. And there we go. Diggs. 1st down, Patriots. And unfortunately, the only way that you can really get, paid, to a good amount, is if you end up hitting, like 100,000 views on an upload or more. But if you're not hitting views like that, it's, you might be able to gain a few subs here and there, but I pretty much have built the backbone on the channel, doing live streams. So, but, down the road, down the road, it could be something that I would consider doing, like especially maybe something like Mariner related, but again, it's like I have to look at the time and the energy, based on the results that I get. So, and based on all the calculations and everything, doing live streams is going to be kind of the thing, for the channel for at least the, short term. And then down the road, I would consider doing uploads down the road, but maybe when we get a little bit bigger of a fan base. A nice 18-yard pass there from May to Diggs. 1st down and 10 at the Jet 11. 1st down, Patriots. Move the trades. Halfback toss to Travion Henderson. And a decent run there for a couple. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think people really realize like how much time and energy, everything takes, to be a streamer full time. Even making a thumbnail sometimes takes an hour, and then you got to do all the prep, with the channel, with the hashtags and, getting everything labeled correctly, through YouTube. So it's like, you might end up doing like a 3.5 hour game, but you're working probably 5 hours, total, trying to make the thumbnail and getting prepped. Back of the end zone, touchdown, Travion Henderson with the trifecta. 3 touchdowns by Henderson, 2 on the ground and 1 in the air. And Travion Henderson having himself a day. That's 5 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. 2 against the Buccaneers, and now he's got 3 against the Jets. Unbelievable. Ramondre Stevenson's job might be gone. MVP chance go out there for Drake May. Extra point is up. Whoa. And that one had a wild, wicked turn to it, but that was good. 21-7 New England. Let's see if we can find a gritty photo here for Rob. I mean, obviously it's not getting as much coverage, than what we got with the, Chauncey Billups, scandal with some of the, current players and former players with the gambling and whatnot. But again, I do think that that is going to be something that's going to be looked into even further to see if other pitchers are doing the same thing, and that's kind of the bad thing about gambling being legal in some states, that, you're going to get people to gamble no matter what, if it's legal or not legal. People that want to bet are going to find a way to bet with a bookie or with some of these, sites now. But I feel like it's making sports worse, because you were already getting some questionable, refereeing, based on, personal gain on, winning money or for their friends or for themselves. And then now, it feels like you're getting more players, more coaches, and more people that are, kind of, skewing the outcomes of the games at the end for their profitable gain. And, we already knew that, point shaving and things were going on with cheating in college basketball in the 70s and 80s. And it's just progressively gotten worse and worse, with all the different sports. And, you have to assume that there's some kind of cheating going on in every sport: hockey, basketball, baseball, football. If it's something that you can bet on, there's probably someone trying to make money off of it, unfortunately. So. First down and 10. Jets need a touchdown desperately here. Fields and a little check down. Mason Taylor with the catch. Yeah, and especially if you end up having friends that aren't really your friends, they're more like acquaintances and, or people that you grew up with, that might not be, the best type of friends to have in your corner, but you're trying to be loyal, and again, eventually, you're going to be the one, the professional athlete that's going to have to, take the punishment if you get caught and whatnot. So just kind of sad that is, something that is so accepted now with the gambling and everything. But I feel it definitely has made sports worse, because then you just have to wonder, like, who's cheating? Is it the referees? Is it the players? Is it both? And at some points it probably is. And do I think everyone is cheating, in sports? No, but, again, there definitely are going to be people that are going to be pushing the boundaries. Little RPO with Fields and a short gain there. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 21-7 Patriot lead. And we already knew Patriots were going to win this game. Drake May is an MVP candidate. They're 8-2. The Jets were 0-7 and they won the last two games, but no Garrett Wilson. Justin Fields is not a good quarterback. Breece Hall is a decent running back. The Jets got rid, of Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, their two best defenders on defense. And again, so you can't expect the Jets to play, competitive football the rest of the way. But, this is a divisional opponent. And again, sometimes when you play a divisional opponent, you get a little bit of magic, like the Dolphins beating the Bills over the weekend. No one saw that coming. So, if this was like the Patriots versus the Cardinals, it might be even a bigger score than it is right now. But anytime you play, someone twice every year and they're in the division, every once in a while, you'll get an upset. And it doesn't look like the Jets are going to pull a Miami Dolphin upset against the Bills here against New England. But, it would be nice for them to get into the end zone at least one more time to make it a little bit more competitive. Yeah, there'll be more information coming out on that as well. And a little check down. And Breece Hall gets pushed out of bounds. And you assume there's probably a lot in the boxing world as well. It's kind of hard to decipher on a guy that's just taking a KO for a payday, and then falling down and not getting up in time, even though they're not that hurt, but again, there's all kinds of cheating going on in boxing. UFC, same type of thing, taking a fall and, you end up getting an L on your record, but that might turn into a big payday, for not only the gambling sites, but, just in general. 8-yard pass there from Fields to Breece Hall. And Breece bouncing it to the outside on 2nd down and 2. First down, Jets. Move the chains. Keep feeding it to Breece Hall. Really the only good player they have left on the team, which is kind of sad to say. I mean, even getting a field goal will help, but obviously getting a touchdown, would be ideal. But again, when you don't really have a whole lot to work with, but they are marching down the field now. And a good play there off the edge. And not a whole lot of blocking help up front for the Jets O-line. 4-yard gain. I mean, they definitely have some names, out there, but when you get rid of your, Pro Bowl, All-Pro, defensive stud in Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, again, that defense is very, very thin. And, obviously they need a better quarterback that actually can throw the ball, and they've definitely gone through many quarterbacks, through, Mark Sanchez to, from Zach to what you're seeing now. So, and obviously Zach Williams didn't work out either. Pass incomplete. Ugly throw there to Mitchell. And Adonai Mitchell definitely is not Garrett Wilson. Now, if they had Garrett Wilson still, he went on IR this morning, maybe he gets in the end zone once today, but, Mitchell is nowhere near being on the Wilson level. But again, sometimes when you get a new head coach, they want to clean house, and those aren't his guys. So again, if you can get draft picks, which they did get a lot for those two guys, and they can hit on those draft picks, in the next couple of years, then, maybe, the Jets could turn into a 10-7 team, in like 3, 4, 5 years. But the problem is Aaron Glenn still going to be the coach at that time? Maybe, maybe not. Fields, plenty of time. Floater, touchdown, Jets. There we go. Nice job by Justin Fields and Mechie with the touchdown grab. There we go. And for once, he actually gets a good Justin Fields throw on a Patriot defense that kind of had a lapse there. Nice job by Mechie, which would have been obviously Garrett Wilson in that situation. There we go, Jets. Way to make this a game. This is a game that New England should win by 14 or more, but it is a divisional opponent. The player fell down, and thank you very much. 22-yard touchdown pass. I mean, hell, if Justin Fields can't make an open throw like that, he shouldn't be playing. And luckily for him, he made it. Extra point is up, and it is good. 21-14, we have ourselves a ball game. And again, I know there was probably some people thinking, this is going to be, 21-0, 21-3. It's going to be a blowout. It won't be fun to watch. Jets scored first, so that kind of set the tone. And again, it's not as good as the Dolphins versus the Bills, in that blowout victory for Miami, but at least that they're making it somewhat entertaining, and again, we got 3:10 left. Now, if you really, want to get everyone on their heels, now you end up getting a big interception or fumble on May and scoring off that. And if you can tie the game up 21-21, no guarantee that the Jets win, but at least it'll, keep our interest all the way to the very, end of the game. But, we'll wait and see if that happens. But nice job there by Justin Fields with the touchdown there to Mechie, John Mechie III. For me, honestly, I did fantasy football for like 15, 20 years straight. And this was the first year that I decided not to do a league on the channel and not participate in any NFL fantasy league. And it actually has been rejuvenating for me, to not have to focus. Because I usually, when I do fantasy, it takes over my life. I'm on the app 3-4 hours a day. I'm looking at my roster. I'm looking at the wire. I'm spying on everyone's team. I'm looking at everyone's bench. And again, to be able to focus on just like the Buccaneers and just my team would be the same thing, for me just to be able to focus on the Mariners and nobody else. So, I mean, it is possible that I might do, fantasy on the channel, but I'm not going to participate myself. I can be maybe the commissioner, but I don't think we have enough people, to do baseball. We definitely have enough to do football year in and year out, but I haven't had too many people ask about baseball. That's a real niche market. It's one thing to do fantasy football, but if you're doing fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey, fantasy baseball, you're on a whole nother realm, and I just don't know if we have enough people that would be interested in that. Maybe down the road, but that's not something that I would participate in. I could be a commissioner, and I know baseball just like anything else. It's not like I wouldn't be smart enough to do it. I would be able to do it, but it just would take up too much of time, with everything else that I have going on in the channel. Since I'm doing, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, wrestling, NASCAR, they're just, there's not really a time for uploads or fantasy at the moment. So, but if I get more and more people asking about it, then, we could always, down the road, maybe, do like a 10-man league, for, football or for baseball, but it's just not something that's really come up. 21-14 Patriots. But I'm always competitive on the fantasy world. I usually finish in the top 3 in every league that I participate in, whether it's a buy-in league or a free league. But I put in more time and effort than most. It's like most people end up making like 50 transactions in a year. I make like 200. So I'm making sure that even my bench is better than some people's starting units. So again, but that takes a lot of time and effort and energy, and it, I don't know, it kind of takes over your life in a negative way, so it's like, for me not doing it, I have felt like rejuvenated and refreshed. And, for everyone that loves doing it, great, but again, if you do it a lot and then you take a year off, you'll definitely see how you feel. And it's a lot better mentally and physically. First down and 10 for Drake May, hands it off up the middle. And a good rush there. First down, Patriots. Move the chains. But we got a flag on the play, and that might be a hold on the Patriots O-line. I mean, if you don't care about fantasy, then it doesn't take a lot of effort. You can draft and just, see how, the pieces fall. But if you're trying to, upgrade your team week in and week out, check the wire, spy on the opponents, and go through like trying to actually win a championship, it takes a hell of a lot of effort. And there's even times where I've made 200-300 moves and I still haven't won, injuries, you can't predict that. And, I just think that's one thing that, it just takes a little bit too much time. First down and 20 after the penalty. May going long, going deep, out of bounds. No receiver is there, incomplete. Second down and 20 at the New England 18. But I'm very competitive with everything that I do. So it's like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all out. I'm not going to give 50%. So. Shotgun set for May here on second down and 20 in the third quarter. Steps up and a little check down to Hunter Henry. Third down and 10 after that 10-yard gain by Hunter Henry. Yeah, and just because you pick one guy one year doesn't mean that they're going to be good the next year, Like you can end up having a breakout year with one guy, and the next year he has an ACL tear week 1, so very unpredictable. May, little floater, beautiful pass there. First down, Patriots. And Douglas with the nice catch. And this combo here of May and Douglas, I see you. Way to bring that electricity for the Patriots. First down, New England. Move the chains. Yeah, or if you end up just drafting poorly, and again, you could end up having, 3 or 4 of your heavy hitters gone within the first month, and then you're done. There's nothing you can do on the wire, to be able to make up for big time production. If like your top running back, top receiver, top quarterback, top tight end all have season-ending injuries, you can still grab guys from the wire, but you're probably not going to be able to make it to the championship game. You might still make the playoffs if you're incredibly intelligent and dedicated and diligent and committed, but again, you're not going to be able to match up with other, powerhouse players that aren't injured on other people's teams. So 26-yard pass from May to Douglas on that previous play. And then a 2-yard run there by Johnson. Sherwood and Phillips with the coverage for the Jets. 2nd down and 8 at the Jets 44. And 21-14 New England lead. Shotgun set. Jets bringing a blitz. May, quick release. And that's one thing about Drake May. If you watched him at, North Carolina, as well as, obviously what you've seen his progression moving forward, he's made a lot of strides within the last few years. Yeah, and plus, when you play with people that actually know how to play, anybody can win a championship if you're playing against people that don't know what the fuck they're doing or don't make moves on the wire on a regular basis. But, if you end up playing people that actually are, know how to play, and you're doing a 10-man or 12-man or 14-man league, there's not going to be a whole lot available for you. End of the third quarter, 21-14 New England, and I'm actually happy that this game is within 7. It kind of looked like in the first half, if New England was able to make a big play, it could have been, quote unquote, over at that point. But again, the Jets, are not a good football team, but again, they're, playing this New England team tough. And it definitely feels like New England is going to win unless the Jets can get a miracle pick six or a fumble for a touchdown or a special teams touchdown, like on a blocked punt, but at least it's, a 7-point game going into the fourth quarter, which most people did not see coming. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. So obviously, primarily, we'll be doing Mariner baseball from March until October or November. And then obviously, once that's over, NFL streams, college football streams with the Ducks, obviously, and any other good opponents. Like we're going to be doing the Texas Longhorns with Arch Manning in Georgia, since the Ducks are playing tomorrow. And then obviously some Blazer streams for NBA fans, to be able to sprinkle that in. And then at some point we'll end up doing some NHL with the Kraken. But again, we're just not there just yet. Usually we'll start dipping into the Kraken once the NFL and the college football season is completely over. When we have a few weeks in between February to March, and then we'll be doing Blazers, NBA streams, Kraken, NHL, and then obviously maybe even a little bit of NASCAR at that point as we wait for baseball season to start up. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Appreciate you, my boy. And anytime you can end up supporting someone that's got dreams and goals, and there's not a whole lot of people that I know that have dreams and goals, like myself. And for me, it's streaming. Obviously here on YouTube, my buddy with music and producing and making beats. And anytime you can support each other and trying to make your dreams come true, it definitely is a great feeling. 3rd down and 5 at the Jets 41. 21-14, New England lead here in the fourth quarter. Shotgun set for Drake May, 4 wide receiver set. And he had such a beautiful quick release. First down, Patriots, Stephon Diggs. Move the chains. Yeah, and he's been able to network, with other producers, which is nice, and again, once you start, meeting more people, meeting together, when they end up having like little beat competitions and just being able to have meetups, with people that are, having the same type of vision, that's going to open a door for him at some point, to a big artist and a big payday. It's just a matter of time. May with the play action bootleg, float, and incomplete. And we got a flag on the play. And there might not be a better quarterback in the NFL in 2025 that throws a lob and just like little floaters with touch than Drake May this year. Again, we know he can throw the laser. We know he can throw deep 50, 60 yards. But just, when pressure is coming and he needs to be able to throw it just right on the sweet spot. Not too, tough, not too hard, not too soft, but just a nice little floater that any receiver or tight end can make the play. And Drake May has mastered that finally here in 2025. It looks like a little hold on Mac Hollins. 5-yard penalty there on defensive holding. Yeah, like I said, I get excited spending time with my pup, doing the work here every day on the streams and listening to what he comes up with. Every day I click on the app to see if anything new has been made. And obviously I can always, check Instagram for any new posts that he's made. But, that app is going to be, the first place where the music goes before it goes to SoundCloud or anywhere else. And I love the Untitled app. It's awesome. I just love being able to, see someone's creativity, and his fingerprints are all over every single beat. Fantastic individual, very creative mind. 2nd down and 5. May with the play action. Jets coming. Uh-oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is. A New York Jet, Jets, Jets, sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Big sack lunch there. And again, you're not going to see too many sacks on Drake May from the Jets, especially when they got rid of Sauce and Quinnen Williams. But there's another one. Jermaine Johnson with the big sack lunch. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. And a little check down on 3rd down and 15 that gets minimal yards to Travion Henderson. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired, not only today, but in 2025. Appreciate you. And that is 4th down. And you are going to see a field goal attempt here momentarily. 4th down and 13. 44-yard field goal attempt here for New England. Kick is up. And that is good. 24-14, New England lead. .12:06 left in the 4th quarter. New England up by 10, and this is going to be a possession where you got to score points if you're the Jets. Even a field goal will put you in range. Borgales, 44-yard field goal is good. 24-14 New England. Let's see what Justin Fields can do on this drive. Hopefully runs the ball a lot and gives the opportunities to Breece Hall as well. 24-14 New England. And I'm glad the score isn't 24-0 New England. You kind of felt New England was going to find a way to win. And it's cool to be able to see New England with an identity, after Belichick and Brady. It finally took a few years to find the right coach in Vrabel, but, it's the perfect guy to be able to lead this team. And again, Drake May finally, finding, that rhythm and magic that he had at North Carolina finally a few years after his rookie debut with the right coach. And you got Josh McDaniels calling plays, so. And a good special teams play there by New England. Holland should be able to have another opportunity. They've been holding him and grabbing him all night, so you would assume that there'll be a few more opportunities with New England. I mean, they're going to probably run the ball most of the time the rest of the way, but there should be a few passes, for a few key first downs before the game is over, you would think. First down and 10. And Justin Fields needs to run this RPO. Man in motion. Snap is low. Handed off to Breece Hall up the middle. Gain of a couple. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on the Dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. 3-yard gain there by Breece Hall. Hawkins with the coverage and the tackle. Second down and 7 at the Jets 31. As they show Vrabel locked in on the sideline. But you can definitely see why the Bears gave up on Justin Fields and drafted Caleb Williams. Shotgun set, Fields. Hands off to Breece Hall. And just short of the first down marker. Looks like it might be 3rd down and 1. Third down and 2 here for Justin Fields. Trips right. New England bringing the blitz. Fields with the RPO, but nowhere to go. Leans for that first down marker. Is he gonna get it? That's close. That is close. And it looks like they're gonna give it to him after that second effort by Fields. First down, Jets. Move the chains. And again, he started to kind of go sideways, and I was like, uh-oh. But as he's going sideways, pumps on the brakes, a little spin move, and luckily was able to get enough for that first down. I don't know how he avoided 3 Patriot defenders there, but there we go. Keep moving the chains. It might be ugly at times for the Jets, but Jets bringing the blitz. Fields, play action, avoids a sack lunch, steps up in the pocket, and incomplete. You can definitely feel that they're missing Garrett Wilson tremendously in this game. Second down and 10 at the Jets 38. Shotgun set for Fields here on second down and 10. Shotgun set. Pressure. Little check down. And great tackle there by New England. Gibbons with the coverage and the tackle. Third down and long. Third down and 12. Here for Justin Fields. Third down and 12 at the Jets 36. Shotgun set. Fields, plenty of time, and tries to throw a laser. Incomplete. God, he's a terrible thrower of the football, Justin Fields. Shouldn't even be starting. Should be a backup quarterback. great defense there by New England. And again, obviously with one more score, I mean, even if it's a field goal, I mean, it already kind of feels like it's over at this point right now with 9:17 left. But, you know, when you throw it off a helmet of one of your other players, it definitely is not going to be completed. Jets with the punt. And that ends up being a touchback. Like when I watch Fields, it kind of feels like a guy that's a gimmick quarterback, you know, where he could come in and run a play here and there, but not, you know, being your starting quarterback. And, you know, they'll definitely be looking for a new quarterback next year. There's no doubt about that. Maybe Mendoza from Indiana, you know, might be a good fit. McNamara punts it out of the end zone with the touchback. First down and 10 at the New England 20. All right, last 9:08 to go here in the fourth quarter. New England in firm control. They are going to win this game. It just depends on how much. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing the Minnesota Golden Gophers versus the Oregon Ducks. That'll be the Friday stream. Saturday will be the Texas Longhorns versus the Georgia Bulldogs. Sunday will be the Eagles and the Lions on Sunday Night Football. And then Monday will be the Cowboys and the Raiders. And then next Tuesday, we'll do the Suns and the Blazers. And on Wednesday, we will do the Bulls and the Blazers. So we'll be doing back-to-back Blazers. And then once we get into Sunday night or Thursday night football next week, that'll be the Texans and the Bills. So that'll be what's on tap moving forward. A little bit of college football, a little bit of NFL, and a little bit of the NBA. Little Blazers, little Ducks, and a little NFL action in between. First down and 10 at the New England 20. Man in motion, play action fake. Plenty of time, floater, wide open. Stephon Diggs, first down, Patriots. Nice job by Diggs there. 22-yard pass by Drake May. And great defense there by the Jets. Barron with the good coverage. I mean, it kind of just depends on, you know, what I'm doing, you know, for the day. You know, if I was able to get, a good return, you know, on people that would be there and whatnot. So, you know, because everything I have to do is calculated, you know, because the amount of time that it takes to make a thumbnail, to do a broadcast, and then, again, trying to hit goals and whatnot. I mean, you know, you don't want to spend another extra 3-4 hours and then, be at a minimal number, on the views and the donos and whatnot. But I definitely will be watching that game. I mean, I got obviously, 4 must-see TV games this weekend, right? And that's one of them. Buccaneers and the Bills in the morning. And then obviously the, Rams and Seahawks is another. Eagles and the Lions. And Matt Collins with the drop. There was your opportunity, but he wasn't able to make the catch. Pass incomplete. Good break up there on 4th down now and 15. But Bucks and Bills, must-see TV. Seahawks, Rams, must-see TV. Chiefs, Broncos, an entertaining game that would be must-see TV for a lot. And then Lions and Eagles. So, yeah, probably not going to do, because if I'm not even going to do the Buccaneers and the Bills, I would be doing that first over the Rams and the Seahawks and whatnot. But I'm probably not even going to do that one. I'll probably just watch it, with Paisley and enjoy my day, and then obviously we'll do Sunday Night Football. But I definitely will be watching the Hawks and the Rams game very closely, and I will watch that whole game. So now, if we can get to a point where no matter what I do, we're going to get a lot of support, then, I'll start doing more, but again, everything is calculated. Back in the day, there was a time where I was doing like 2-3 games on a Sunday, doing like 2 on a Saturday, 3 on a Sunday, but I'm only going to do that if it's going to be worth it, again, because if you do that many, you're going to get prone to, burning out, and again, the worst thing that you can do, is grind excessively and not get support. And then when you try to do other streams during the week, you got no time or energy to do them. And then you get, mentally into a position where, you want to make sure your mental health is in a good spot. So, but is there a chance that we end up doing another Seahawk stream or 2 before the season is over? For sure. Obviously, when the Seahawks make the playoffs, we'll definitely do the Seahawks stream then. But again, I do believe that they will have another primetime game before the season is over, or at least I hope so. But again, once the channel gets bigger and bigger, with more support, then I'll consider going back, to those days. But, everything is based on metrics and analytics. And, I look at everything very closely each day. And, Seattle definitely is a fun team to call, especially this year. Obviously in the past few years, pretty competitive, but not like championship competitive. But this year, definitely they have made some big strides, and they have as good of a chance as anybody to make the NFC Championship game. Seahawks, Rams, Eagles, Buccaneers, Lions, Packers. So, we'll see how it all plays out. And now it's going to be 1st down and 10 for the Jets. And in this possession, they're going to definitely need a field goal or a touchdown to be a little bit closer. It's crazy to see that the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens aren't really relevant, and then the Broncos and the Patriots and the Colts are. You would never have expected that going into the year, but that's what makes the NFL so exciting. You just never know, how things are going to go, and eventually the kings of the castle, the cream of the crop, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens are no longer, the kings. And low snap, fumble, and Fields, and I think the Bills and the other teams have, definitely lost some momentum, and a big turnover there by Fields by not jumping on it. And now New England is going to score almost immediately. Now it's game over. I mean, if the ball's on the ground, you got to jump on it. And that's Justin Fields for you in a nutshell. Snap is low, and then fall on it, Fields. And he's trying to pick it up, and once you try to do that, that always ends up in disaster. I mean, that's why they tell defensive linemen, instead of trying to be a hero and trying to score off a fumble, just land on it. But again, some of these guys, they don't listen. Nice job by Jennings with the recovery, and now the game is officially over, even though we do have 7:29 left. 3 touchdowns by Travion Henderson and a field goal by New England, and now we might end up getting another touchdown here. Travion Henderson with another rush. Crazy if he ends up getting 4 touchdowns in a game. You got Travion Henderson in fantasy, you're living your best life. He had 2 touchdowns against the Buccaneers last week as well, so 5 in the last 2 weeks. Ramondre Stevenson might have lost his job. Second down and 7 at the Jets 8. Shotgun set. May. Little bootleg. And just throws it away. Incomplete. Third down and 7 at the Jet 8. 6:42 left in the fourth quarter. But definitely looking forward to this weekend. You know, some good college football games, but you know, this might be the best weekend for must-see games. 4 of them on Sunday. I don't think we've seen that many must-see games all year, and I definitely will be in tune. Buccaneers and Bills, Seahawks and Rams, Chiefs and Broncos, Eagles and Lions. Sign me up. Shotgun set. May. Floater. Incomplete. Could have been picked, but it wasn't. I mean, I wish I had enough time and energy to do all 4 of those games on Sunday, but it's just not going to be physically possible. And they did get a hand on that. I was wondering why that pass was so off, but good defense there by the Jets getting a hand on that football. And this is going to turn into another field goal here by New England. Yeah, easily could have been 31-14 right now. Chip shot. Field goal attempt, 26-yarder. Right down the middle is good. 27-14 New England. And they had New England as 12.5-point favorite, so they're right there with a 13-point lead, but you can't have the Jets score any more. We will see if they will be able to put up any more points before this one is over. Wow, Jets only have 1 takeaway all year. Are you kidding me? Yeah, they don't got an offense. They don't got a defense. They don't got a special teams. They don't got fucking anything. I mean, besides Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, who's injured. Touchback by the Jets. Let's see if the Jets can get something here with pride here at the end. First down and 10 at the Jet 35, 27-14 New England. Shotgun set for Fields. Pressure up the middle, and it's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Big sack lunch there for the Patriots. And obviously the offensive line starting to get a little tired and fatigued here for the Jets. Nice job by Barmore with the sack lunch. Loss of 9. Second down and 19 at the Jet 26. Shotgun set for Fields. Brees sitting there in the flat. Fields. There we go. Nice catch. Mason Taylor with the grab. And we got about 5 minutes and 30 seconds left and counting here in the fourth quarter. Be tough being a Jet fan, I could only imagine. They haven't really had a whole lot to celebrate about. Shotgun set. Fields. And avoids the sack lunch. Bounces it to the outside. And he got very close to that first down marker with that last reach with the football. Let's see where the spot is by the ref. Shotgun set. Fields. And pass batted down backwards, incomplete. I mean, I am going to get the Seattle game. You know, I will get it here locally. So there is a chance, you know, that I might end up doing that. I just don't want to be too burnt out, you know, after the Hawks and the Rams and not have any energy for the Eagles and the Lions. But we'll see how I feel, you know, Sunday morning, you know, after watching the Buccaneers and the Bills. And yeah, there might be a chance that I might end up doing that. I mean, we've done 2 games on a Sunday, you know, a few weeks throughout the year, but just depends on the matchup and if it would be worth it. And obviously that, you know, that's going to be a good game. A little check down there by Fields. Rucker there. Third down and 6. After that 4-yard pass to Ruckert. Shotgun set for Fields. New England bring in the blitz. Fields. Nice catch. Big hit. First down. Jets. Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets. Move the chains. There you go. I mean, Mechie is going to be a better option than for Adonai Mitchell. You know, A.D. Mitchell can't do shit, but Mechie obviously can catch the football and apparently take a big hit. Nice job. First down, Jets. Fields, pump fake, little check down, and passes dropped, incomplete. .330 left here in the fourth quarter. 27-14 Patriots. See if the Jets can come up with a garbage touchdown here in the fourth. Man in motion. Shotgun set on second down and 10. Good protection up front. Fields, get rid of it. Get rid of it. And Fields decides to finally run and gets out of bounds. First down, Jets. Here we go. .11 rushes for a good amount of yardage there for Fields. Nice 12-yard run there by Justin Fields. Davis with the coverage. First down and 10 at the New England 21. Either going to Mechie or keep running the ball yourself, or going to Brees Hall if he's in. Floater. Incomplete. Christian Gonzalez in coverage. Throwing to A.D. Mitchell is a waste of time. I don't know why they keep going to him. And you're going against one of the best corners, if not the best corner in the game, and Christian Gonzalez from the Ducks. You ain't going to get that. Shep in the building. What's good, brother? How are you? How is work and how is life going for you? Smash that like button if you haven't done it yet, brother. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. Little check down there by Fields. Third down and manageable here for Justin. 0% chance that New England loses. Yeah, but TJ, we'll see. I might end up doing the Hawk and Ram game. We'll see. You know, if you check social media, it'll let you know if I have the energy and the time to do it. Third down and 2. 3 wide receiver set. Shotgun set for Fields. Get rid of it. And tackled from behind. And a minimal gain there for Fields. Reflect in the building. What's good? Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. Stacks. Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. And a little check down on 4th down and 4. And, of course, they can't complete it. Incomplete. $3 holla. Reflect in the building with Shep. Love seeing you guys in the building. Appreciate that. Every like, every sub, every view, every dono, everything matters. It all adds up. I mean, I'm working every day. I'm spending time with Paisley every day, which is a blessing, to be able to give her the life that, she deserves. And, I'm keeping up with the exercise and eating healthy. I'm walking 5 miles a day, 7 days a week. I haven't broke that in 2 years. So that's good. I've been able to keep off that 90 pounds that I lost, and I haven't gained any of it back. I'm not really drinking, not really partying. It's pretty much spend time with Paisley, grind on the channel every day. And I do have one fun thing coming up. I'm going to go see the Spurs in Wemby the day before Thanksgiving with my best friend, and we're going to make a day of it. Hit the arcade, stay there for a few hours, try to win a game or two, depending on what we decide to play. Ninja Turtles, X-Men, Sunset Riders, whatever we decide to go at. And then eat, at maybe Bay's Chicken or something delicious. And then we'll go to the Blazer game, and hopefully Wemby won't be injured. We had tickets for Wemby last year, and he got hurt right before they played the Blazers. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I love Thanksgiving. I love the food, the family, the friends, and the football. We will be doing a stream for Thanksgiving and Christmas, the late game. That way I can spend a little bit of time with family, but I definitely like to work on my birthday and on holidays. It gives a chance to be able to catch up with everyone with the food and the vibes, and, hopefully have a decent game, for that last game, on both days. But other than that, baseball season has ended. They gave the MVP to Ohtani and Judge. The bias is real. I knew Cal would not win it. We'll be getting back into Mariner baseball in March. But until then, NFL, college football, NBA will be the primary. And then once we get into February, a little bit of Kraken and a little bit of NASCAR for a few weeks while we wait for baseball to get going again. And then once we get into March, it'll be Mariner baseball from March, hopefully all the way to the end of October, beginning of November, if we end up making the World Series. So. You got a little trip to Detroit Cavs Pacers, nice. Yeah, and I don't really get to do too many fun things. I might be able to do one fun thing a month or one fun thing every 2 months. But, if I get a chance to hang out with my best friend and, we have good food, go to a sporting event, hit an arcade up so we can, get all of those things, done. It ends up being a day that I definitely cherish, and it's not like I hang out with too many people. I really only communicate with my best friend on the daily. And, I got one or two other, friends, that I, try to talk with, maybe once a week, kind of check up on them that live here in Oregon, but I don't even see them that often. I might see them, once every 6 months or, once a year or so. And I think as you get a little bit older, you have to kind of cut back a lot of the party people and the acquaintances. And it's better to have a couple really close friends than have 20 acquaintances that wouldn't even help you if you were in trouble or needed something. So, yeah, I knew Cal 100% wasn't going to win it because there's just too much bias with Judge and Ohtani. So, hand off up the middle. And TreVeyon Henderson doing TreVeyon Henderson things. It looks like that Ramondre Stevenson might end up losing his starting spot at some point here. I mean, Henderson definitely plays and looks like an RB1. 3 touchdowns today, 2 against the Buccaneers, 5 in the last 2 weeks. And I like the way that Ramondre Stevenson plays. The problem is he gets injured too much, and again, it's a great 1-2 combo with Stevenson and, obviously what you got with Henderson, but I think I like Henderson's style a little bit more, and he's younger and less mileage, obviously with his body being banged up over the years since he's a rookie. And May hands off, and Henderson scampers for the first down. First down, Patriots. Yeah, I mean, almost all the teams, are doing pretty good. Obviously Mariners, played well this year. Blazers are pretty good this year. Kraken are pretty good. Ducks are good. So, obviously, the Blazers and Kraken, we didn't really know what we were going to get with those two teams, but, they're both competitive, and hopefully they both make the playoffs. And, overall, it's, been a pretty good sport year for me. I mean, obviously it could have been better if the Mariners would have made the World Series against the Dodgers, but, again, a good year, and that we can build off going into next year. And then a little kneel down here by Drake May. And then tomorrow's stream will be the Oregon Ducks versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers, the only stream on Friday for the Ducks. I assume that we will be able to find a way to win that game. Saturday, we're going to do Texas and Georgia. We haven't done a game outside of the Ducks in college football, but that's, since the Ducks are playing tomorrow, we have to do something Saturday. And I feel that will be a fun one to watch. It'll be on a little bit later, around 4:30 Pacific time. So I think we should be able to get a pretty good audience. And then Sunday, Lions and Eagles. And then Monday, Cowboys and Raiders. And then Blazers on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm looking forward to doing those. And I assume as we do more and more NBA and Blazers, we'll eventually get more and more support, which will be needed since we're going to be doing that until we get to baseball season. So final score, Patriots 27, Jets 14. Shout out to Judah. His birthday is today. And I know he's celebrating this Patriot victory. So love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Yeah, I mean, disappointing year with the Falcons. Again, everyone thought that they were going to overtake the Buccaneers and win the division, and they might down the road. But again, not what I think any Falcon fan was expecting. Saints are terrible. Falcons are much worse than they should be. And the Panthers are a lot better than people originally thought. And again, the Bucs will win the NFC South again for the 5th year in a row. But it looks like the Panthers and the Falcons down the road may give them a challenge, but just not this year. So, and again, it's injuries and, coaching, play calling, defense. It's a number of things. And, hopefully for the Falcons, they'll be able to get to the Buccaneer level sooner than later. So, well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. Shout out to TJ, Rob, and Reflect. for showing love on the Dono train. TJ, as always, supporting and helping out as one of the lead mods when some of the other mods are not here. I appreciate the support with the likes and the subs and the views and the donos. And hopefully, Penix will get better and better, as the years go on. And you might need to make a change with the coaching staff at some point. And hopefully they will get better, because I do know a few Falcon fans myself, and they have been ready to pull their hair out for the last few weeks. So hopefully it'll get a little bit better. But appreciate you guys very, very much. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Great to see Shep and Reflect in the building here late. Toby in here at the end of the stream as well. And again, we will be live tomorrow for the Ducks and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And again, so the schedule moving forward: Ducks, Minnesota tomorrow. Saturday will be Texas and Georgia. Sunday, Eagles and Lions. Sunday Night Football. Monday will end up being the Cowboys and the Raiders. And then Tuesday, Wednesday will be the Blazers. And then we'll do Thursday Night Football, which will be the Bills and the Texans. Now, how I remember all of these things, I have no idea, but my memory is good. And again, we'll be grinding it out: a little NFL, little college football, and a little NBA. So appreciate you guys very, very much. And again, final score: Patriots 27, Jets 14. Appreciate all the love and the support. And I got one question for you. Who talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.